I'm filming 2 videos today and I could not be bothered to change my shirt to make it seem like I wasn't. So sorry I'm wearing the same shirt twice in a row. Forgive me. So at least it's a good shirt, right? Anyway, today we're going to be doing kind of a different style video because there's just so much happening in the world of horror right now, which is great because last year there was really nothing going on. So we're gonna be talking about horror news that you might have missed, and basically I'm also making this video for myself so I don't forget any of these things because I literally have a phone. I have a phone, guys. I have a note file on my phone of all the horror stuff that I see and hear of because I don't want to forget everything that is happening, because obviously this is, you know, what I do, so I need to like keep up to date, and I'm really bad about that usually. So it's hard to keep track of all of these pieces of news and all these announcements and everything happening right now, but it's a great time to be a horror fan, so I'm making this for myself so I don't forget, and for you. Hopefully I can make this a series and continue updating you with different horror news that I hear of, at least, and things that I'm personally excited about. And then in the comments you can tell me horror news that you've heard that I didn't talk about and maybe that you're excited about. So before we get into the news, I just want to thank NordVPN for sponsoring today's video. If you're unfamiliar with the VPN, it's really useful in today's tech world because it makes hacking close to impossible. It protects your data and privacy, and of course my personal favorite is you can access any country's streaming services and their entire selection of movies. I think this is especially great for horror fans because I feel like certain countries just are lacking in the horror selection on places like Hulu, Netflix, Prime, all those, you know, streaming services. Sometimes the horror selection just isn't that great. So with the VPN, you can access every country's horror selection and have access to hundreds and hundreds of more movies and shows. You can use it on up to 6 devices with just one account, which is super useful. You can use it on your phone, your laptop, anything that uses an internet connection. So you can protect all of your devices, and I've been using it for so long, and it's just such a convenient tool to have. They also have a 30-day money-back guarantee, so there's no risk in trying it today for yourself. There's also no data logging, which I think is super awesome because then you can browse, like if you're making travel plans and things like that, a lot of airlines will hike up the prices if they know you're looking. So it's really nice that there's no data logging with that. My viewers, of course, get a huge discount, so click the link in my description down below or use the code PossessedbyHorror to get a 2-year plan plus a bonus gift. Okay, so the first piece of news that we're going to be starting with isn't really news, but I just know people probably want me to comment on the new American Horror Story trailer that was just released for, I think, season 10. I can't keep track of double feature, which I think is really ironic that it's Ocean and Death Valley. I forgot what the Ocean one was called, but it's also called Death Valley, and I'm going to Death Valley in November. So that's interesting. I know it's a famous place, so not really that surprising, but I feel like you cannot judge American Horror Story based on trailers or posters or anything that's released prior to the show because it's never accurate. It never means anything to me personally. I am excited that Macaulay Culkin's in it. That's probably the selling point for me personally going into the new season and why I have a little bit of hope. Every year I have a little bit of hope and then I'm let down every single year since pretty much Freak Show. But if you want me to review it, I will probably do it the way I did 1984, where I just review it at the end. I'm gonna watch all of it at once and then review it versus doing it episode by episode like I used to, but expect a full review once the show is complete. Also, before you ask in the comments, yes, I will be discussing American Horror Stories in September probably, I think, because I think the finale comes out today or around, well, by the day I'm filming this, but the finale's out now, so I will be talking about that hopefully early September and going over that, but I'm just gonna tell you right now, it's trash, garbage. Don't like it. Next piece of news, Pet Sematary prequel will be coming out and it will be streaming on Paramount Plus, which is probably the worst streaming service of all time. I use it and have it strictly for Big Brother. Sometimes Survivor, but all the seasons are on Hulu, and I'd much rather use Hulu because there's something about Paramount Plus. It's a horrible streaming service. So the Pet Sematary prequel will be a directorial debut by Lindsay Beer, and it is a prequel, so it is an origin story, which makes me a little bit nervous because I think we're kind of over the Native American burial ground trope at this point. It's inaccurate, doesn't make any sense, especially in today's world. So I don't really know, and I have no idea if Stephen King is taking any part in it at all. I feel like you can judge certain things based on what streaming service they're going to. Is that rude? And maybe I need to get over that. But something about the fact it's going to Paramount Plus tells me a lot of things. Although A Quiet Place 2, I think, was put on Paramount Plus, which is unfortunate. Anyway, let me know if you're excited for a Pet Sematary prequel. I mean, I don't want to get my hopes up for anything because the origin story is a little bit offensive, but maybe it'll be interesting. I don't know. Next up, I'm sure a lot of you know this by now, but I Know What You Did Last Summer series. It's a original series, will premiere in October on Amazon Prime, and James Wan is producing on this, which is very exciting. It's been over a decade since I've seen the movies, so I definitely need to rewatch those going into the series, but I know a lot of you are already excited about this, and I will definitely be talking about it once I watch it. Maybe I'll do a little comparison, talk about the movies as well as the series, just to make one video encapsulating all of I Know What You Did Last Summer. Next up is something that I'm personally very, very excited about, is VHS 94. Now, I don't know why everyone is so excited about 1994, but I'm always down for a new anthology horror movie, and I love the VHS trilogy. I actually just finally got VHS 2 on DVD yesterday, so now I have the whole trilogy, and I'm excited for the fourth one. It will actually be coming directly to Shudder, which is exciting. We love Shudder here on this channel, and I do actually like and appreciate how much more accessible horror movies are becoming because we're doing a lot of streaming services, and because there's so many and I have every single one of them, I have no complaints. Obviously, if you don't have every single streaming service, it's probably annoying that they're all coming out on different things. But I do worry that the streaming services are going to kill movie theaters because I don't think I could emotionally handle that. You know, we already lost Blockbuster and like a lot of physical media that I don't think I could handle losing a movie theater experience. But that being said, I do like that they're more accessible and that they're being released to streaming so everyone can see it at the same time and you can watch. It's just easier to access, you know. But let me know what you think about that. Next, the Paranormal Activity reboot has finished filming, and I'm not sure if they've released a date yet, but I imagine sometime in 2022 we will be getting the Paranormal Activity reboot. Now, I'm a little bit nervous about this one. I love the franchise, don't get me wrong. I am excited. I'm worried it's going to be big budget, which is not what we like from the Paranormal Activity franchise. Granted, the marked ones was pretty good. I liked some of the later ones, but I think they need to go back to their roots and really do the low budget thing and have non-actors in it. I really like that aspect of the first movie, but we'll see what the reboot is like. I'm nervous because there's so many art movies already in the franchise, and I feel like it's kind of doing the thing where a franchise doesn't know when to die, and sometimes you just need to stop. Next up, Universal teamed up with Peacock, another streaming service. I actually just got Peacock the other day, so convenient. But Universal's teaming up with them to buy a deal for a new Exorcist movie trilogy. Now, I would love a modern Exorcist movie, don't get me wrong. I'm a little bit hesitant because they've already purchased a trilogy. Like, they're that confident in it. They're gonna make a trilogy already. And I don't know if it's also because of Fear Street, because Fear Street was announced years and years ago, but that maybe they were inspired a little bit by that and just doing a trilogy all at once. Maybe they'll do really, I don't know what the plan is. I don't know what's going on. But I love The Exorcist, the original. I think it's a really effective horror movie and still holds up to this day, in my opinion. So it'll be interesting to see a modern take on that. I don't know if it's going to be direct remakes, reboots, prequels, sequels. I don't really know what the plan is with the Exorcist trilogy, but I'm excited. We'll see. With anything with a large franchise, I try to have as little expectations as possible because I usually end up being very disappointed. Speaking of which, Evil Dead Rise is coming 2022. Now, this will be the 5th Evil Dead movie that is directed by Lee Cronin, who did The Hole in the Ground, which was interesting. I don't really see the correlation. Like, I'm nervous to see his take on Evil Dead because they're very different types of movies. And this movie will be going directly to HBO Max, yet another streaming service. But HBO Max, I think, has really good taste when it comes to horror movies on there, and they usually have a really good selection. Also, what gives me hope with Evil Dead Rise is Sam Raimi and Bruce Campbell are producing it. So I like that the original people of the original are participating in some way, because I think that will really make sure that it at least is a little bit close and accurate to the original. Now, this next piece of news is something that I'm really excited about, but I don't know if any of you are going to care about it. If you like the movie Cube, which I do, it's so good, so underrated in my opinion. I actually just rewatched it the other day because my partner had never seen it and he loved it. Japan is actually remaking this and it comes out in October. I'm very excited about it. Usually with remakes, it's like the other way around. America tends to remake a lot of Asian horror movies. So I'm excited to see Japan's take on the famous Cube. There is a new Halloween anthology movie that we are being gifted this year and I'm so excited. It's called Bad Candy and it actually stars Slipknot's Corey Taylor. I'm excited. And this is actually coming out in September, which is great because I feel like we need new Halloween content. I'm discovering a lot of new Halloween movies like Cry Wolf I just watched the other day. Amazing, incredible. How have I not seen that movie? But we can always use more Halloween movies. Last year, I think we got a couple really, really amazing ones. So I'm excited about Bad Candy. Love a good anthology movie, so we'll see. And lastly, the way I want to wrap up this video is sharing some important dates that I think you should be keeping track of for the rest of this year if you're interested in any of these movies. Obviously, we have Candyman coming out August 27th. We have Malignant coming out on September 10th, which so excited about that one. A new James Wan original movie that's not in the Conjuring franchise. It's gonna be great. Of course, we have Halloween Kills coming out on October 15th. Personally, I've avoided trailers for this movie and probably will continue to do so. Same with Malignant. I've tried to avoid all trailers. Candyman is nearly impossible to avoid trailers for because it is being advertised everywhere right now. But Malignant and Halloween Kills, I'm not watching trailers for. And Last Night in Soho comes out October 22nd. This one looks very unique, very interesting. And of course, Antlers coming out October 29th. This is my most anticipated horror movie of 2021, so I'm really nervous about this one being good. We'll see. I am going to early screenings of a couple of these movies, definitely Candyman, Last Night in Soho, and I believe Antlers. So for those movies, stay tuned for early reviews or at least posting near the day that they come out. So I will get my reviews up as soon as the movies come out for those at least. But I do plan on reviewing all of these individually like I did with The Night House. I'm trying to get back into individual reviews. I feel like that's really lacking on my channel. But there you have it. That is all the horror news that I think you might have missed. Maybe not. Maybe it's just me. I don't know. It's hard to keep track. If you have any horror news that you think is very important right now, please leave it in a comment down below. I hope you enjoyed and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.